Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth, also known as the Continuum Chronicles. As always, I'm your host, Chris Kent, the Game Master. And today we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman, specifically an adventure inspired by Wonder Woman Volume 1, number 128 from 1961. But before we get into that, smash the like button, ring the bell so you know when I upload stuff, and make sure you're subscribed. We've got a great community here, and that's all thanks to you guys. Thank you so much for being here. That said, let's dive into today's adventure. As our prologue begins, we find Wonder Girl, aka Diana, telling her mother, Hippolyta, about her frustrations with her flight speed. Diana talks about how she's not fast enough to deal with alien invaders and starships. So Hippolyta suggests they consult her old friend, Thena of the Eternals. Using a communicator, the Amazons contact Thena, who in turn directs Diana to the Green Grotto at the bottom of the sea. As soon as their call concludes, Diana hurtles herself into the ocean and swims towards her destination. Mono, the mer boy, sees her and asks her out, but she says she's got no time for that. She's on a mission to the Green Grotto. Merboy says the grotto is off limits and full of unexpected dangers. He pleads with her not to go there. As she turns to bid him farewell, she sees him swallowed whole by a giant clam. And before she can swim over to save him, Diana herself is ensnared by living seaweed. So Diana takes off her tiara, made of Amazonium, and throws it at the giant clam, shattering its shell. The tiara acts like a boomerang and returns to her. As it does so, it slices through the seaweed. Mono says, "You see, I warned you how dangerous the ocean can be." But Diana just smiles and tells him she's going anyways. She tells him to stay behind so that she won't have to worry about him. Diana swims towards a cave on the ocean floor, and Merboy follows her. She tells him to go home, but before either of them can do anything else, they're pulled into the cave by a deadly current. Not only were they being tumbled about by the irresistible force, but Diana learns to her horror that the walls of the grotto were closing in on them. Mono fears they will both be crushed as they're forced into a tighter and tighter passageway. But Diana doesn't give up. She spins her lasso in front of her. She uses her super speed, and the coarse texture of the nearly invulnerable lasso means it acts like a drill bit. The gleaming lasso, also made of Amazonium, drills a tunnel through the grinding walls of the Green Grotto. Like human corks, the roaring water then hurled them upwards like a giant waterspout out into the air, where they beheld a startling sight. Here in the air, Diana sees the Pegasus, the winged steed Thena had told her about. With a desperate surge, Diana manages to flip both herself and Mono out of the waterspout and onto the back of the untamed Pegasus. As he bucks and tries to throw them both off, Wonder Girl says, "He sounds as if this is the first time anyone's ever been on his back." As soon as she says this, he throws both of them off. The wild steed whinnies in triumph. Diana grabs Mono and uses her flight to set him on the ground safely. Then she gets out her lasso and hurls it towards the elusive winged figure in the sky. She gets the lasso around the neck of Pegasus and then gets onto his back. As he struggles, she holds on. Pegasus flies over an erupting volcano and is surprise attacked by a giant black pterodactyl. Diana undoes the lasso from Pegasus and then lassos the pterodactyl, but the pterodactyl dives into the erupting volcano. Diana struggles to get the lasso off of the kaiju, and as she falls towards the volcano at the last possible moment, Pegasus swoops in and catches her on his back. She asks why he did it and gets a vague telepathic answer, not only suggesting that it was repaying her for helping it, but also that this isn't really a Pegasus at all. As it turns out, the being she thought was a Pegasus was actually an alien artifact created by the Lancinarians. The Lancinarians are a very ancient alien race that arrived on Earth 40,000 years ago. They founded a great and powerful civilization centered on the city of Lancinar in what we now call Antarctica, when the region was still warm and free from ice. The Lancinarians resemble the Egyptian gods, with armored humanoid bodies and animal like heads. And along similar lines, this Lancinarian morphing crystal resembles the Pegasus of Greek mythology. Now that she understood all of this via telepathy, Wonder Woman and the Pegasus fly in one end of a cloud bank, and while inside, the Lancinarian morphing crystal uses the self manipulation power. And when it comes out the other end of the clouds, it is now the invisible jet. Wonder Girl says she feels as though it's still alive and that it's still Pegasus, just in another guise. Similar, I suppose, to how Wonder Girl is Princess Diana in another guise. After picking up Mono and taking him home, Diana lands the invisible jet on a beach on Themyscira. She intends to leave it here, but like a horse, it follows her. Diana ventures into town where the invisible jet is forced to bank sideways to fit between buildings. It is worth noting, by the way, that the invisible jet has no visible means of propulsion, no propellers or turbines. There are shapes on the wings where an engine should be, but these football-shaped constructs are closed on both ends. The invisible jet can hover in place and be motionless, or fly in any direction, just like a UFO. Diana enters her mother's palace and tells her about her adventure, and Hippolyta has no idea what to say. Diana's been having adventures like this for years now, and Hippolyta has sort of just given up on trying to wrap her head around even half of this stuff. So she asks Diana where she plans to keep her new Pegasus. It sounds like it's too big for the stables. Diana hadn't thought of that. So Diana decides to build a white marble structure big enough to store a jet in. She flies to another island where she mines some marble, and as she is doing this, Wonder Tot uses that German bell-shaped time machine that we mentioned a couple adventures ago to arrive at this point in time. Wonder Tot plays with the invisible jet, who still acts like a horse. It can paw at the sand with its landing gear like a bull would paw at the ground with its hoof. Wonder Tot also tries to feed it mud pies, which pretty much looks like her just smearing mud on its invisible nose cone. Believe it or not, Wonder Tot is actually being helpful for a change because she's keeping the invisible jet happy while Diana works. Then we get into the epilogue. As soon as Wonder Girl finishes building the new stable, alien spacecraft appear in the sky, manned by yellow Martians. This is a vast understatement, but the invaders were not expected to be greeted by Wonder Tot and Wonder Girl. The girls lasso the alien craft and slam them into each other, doing damage. The aliens are disturbed, to say the least, so they call off the attack and return to Mars. In the end, the invisible jet is parked within the new marble stable, and Wonder Tot is sent home. And that was it for that game session. That whole bit where the Pegasus actually turns into the invisible jet was taken directly from Wonder Woman number 128. We tried to make it a bit more believable by using the origin for the post-crisis invisible jet from Wonder Woman Volume 2, number 115. That came out in 1996. And I actually thought it blended pretty well. My wife liked it. She, of course, was playing Diana, as always. And she was surprised by how wacky the Silver Age Wonder Woman stories were. So she kind of wants me to run a Wonder Woman campaign now in the style of Mystery Men or The Tick. Anyways, we had a good time playing it. We hope that you had a good time listening to it. If so, remember to smash the like button, ring the bell so you know when I upload stuff. Make sure you're subscribed and be sure to leave us a comment, as that really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. All that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you in the next video.